Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ Marino and we have a new horror review. There's a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming to Netflix and let's get into it. Like the McRib or the cicada bugs, every couple years it decides to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre time, where we try to give this a new go. Maybe we reboot it, maybe we do a prequel, maybe we do a remake prequel film that's also a hybrid, and then sometimes Trey Songz the rapper singer's in it. Yeah, this is a weird franchise, so when anyone tells you that this new film is the worst Texas Chainsaw Massacre I've ever seen, look at them seriously and go, really? This is the worst one? You sure? Because this new one, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, the new one coming to Netflix, is not that bad. I was expecting worse. Not saying this movie's good, but there's parts of it that I really didn't hate. I actually thought Leatherface was one of his most badass, brutal, and scary he's been in quite some time. And I'm talking about like scarier and meaner and grosser than the remake version. You know which one I'm talking about? And that's a pretty big badass. Yeah, I really like Leatherface in this film. Sadly, when he is not on camera, it's not as good. This is a lot of some stuff we'll talk about in a bit that just seems to be the new horror trend, or at least the new movie trend of things and the type of characters we'll deal with. Yeah, we'll have a whole little segment about that. But overall, I really thought this was okay. I almost said I liked this movie. That would have been a stretch. I thought this was fine. There was enough to keep me going. It's a very short runtime. That was a joy. I loved it. It's fun enough. It's gory enough. There's enough to keep you engaged and get you through. Do I love every character? Do I think some of the decisions to respect the original are working? No, that's not really... Can't say I do. But again, the gore is there. The Leatherfaceness of it all is fine. And hell, it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. You really can't do these too wrong. You can make them pretty bad. I'm looking at you, The Next Generation, or Leatherface from a couple years ago. You could do some of them bad, but this is in the middle of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, and honestly, that's okay. In the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's a young group of kids who are trying to start this new little town, trying to get some business investors to come and help build up a town that has like a good society. There is this one girl who her younger sister was a victim of gun violence, so they're trying to make this like weird utopia thing. There's a guy named Richter in here that's just like, oh, so you starting a cult? And they're like, no, we're a group of idealistic freethinkers, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, that's a cult. Fine, whatever these people are starting, they're trying to do it. So they go to this little small town in Texas to build this up, and they run into Leatherface. They kind of invade his territory, but it's not the territory you're expecting. I don't know why in this film they decided to send him to this small town in this weird adoption place and not the Leatherface house. Maybe we've been there, done that. That's fine. But yeah, so this is definitely a different setting for the character. He's in this small little ghost town, and you would think there isn't a lot of people to kill, but I was surprised that this is one of the biggest body counts I've seen from Leatherface. There's an actual massacre in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Really like that scene. It's involving a bus. Oh my goodness, the highlight of this film. Truly just brutal and badass. So yeah, the group of kids basically have to face off with Leatherface. They don't mix well with the townies, and that's, you know, the typical story. Yeah, it's fine. These characters, though, the issue I have is they are woke, young, millennial, Gen X characters or Gen Z characters that are just, you know, the characters you've seen. They're woke and annoying, and I don't know who that's for. If they're trying to appeal to left-leaning liberal people, making fun of them's not going to work, and you're just going to annoy the right-wing audience that's like, oh, all these damn liberals, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just don't understand these type of characters. It feels lazy. It just feels like pointless, and it just feels like it distracts from the stories. If these characters had more of a focus to them, less of the buzzwords that we have to use like lit and activism and cancel bro, and if we could have just skipped all that. And look, I didn't mind the anti-gun violence part of this, where we have someone who's scared of guns, so obviously, you know, at the end we're gonna have to use guns, blah blah blah. I didn't mind that, but it got distracted by all the other crap around it, and I was just like, let's just avoid this. I don't understand why we go this route. Oh my goodness, there's something I haven't really talked about, and that is the return of a legacy character, because that's the trendy thing to do. We'll talk about her, which is Sally. We'll talk about her and how good Leatherface is in the next section. But yeah, overall, I don't love the plot. These characters are meatbags to die by Leatherface. It's not the worst. I just feel like they're kind of insufferable. There's been worse characters in this franchise though, so that's a plus, I guess. In the vein of the new Scream or Halloween or Slumber Party Massacre, we're doing these like legacy films where we're inspired by the first film in a franchise, so we're gonna have to pay a sequel to that and let's pay respects. Well, I guess they tried here. They brought back Sally, who was the girl who survived the original film. Marilyn Burns, who was the actress, is no longer with us. So they brought in Olwen Fouéré. I believe she was in the Mandy film. The actress is fine. She does a decent role. She's just not really, she doesn't really add anything to it. You would think it would be handled like Jamie Lee Curtis in the Halloween films, but it's just not to that level. It just doesn't have that oomph. Her face off with his like Leatherface, you're just like, girl, okay, you try, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's there. They try to give you the ooh ah ah, but like, it's truly not the respect to the homage to the original, because they changed some things. Leatherface is a bit different here. He's less of this kind of like slower, like a weird kind of sad dude who's a bit deformed. That's not really here. He's kind of a normalish dude who has more trauma. They humanize him in such a weird way. As much as they try to humanize him and give you like reasons of why he's going crazy, he is still brutal. Like, oh my goodness, the kills, the goriness, the graphicness, when he gets the face, oh my goodness, it's so good. I really love Leatherface, and if I could just like chop out all the Leatherface scenes and just watch it, you would truly have one of the best portrayals ever. Is it like true to the original? No, it's not exactly what I thought you would do with Leatherface, but I do like this reinvention. It allowed him to be more brutal, a bit more smarter, a bit better of a fighter, and it really impressed me. The stuff he did with a hammer, like there's one character he throws it at and I'm like, oh shit, and then the chainsaw kills. Such a good ride. Leatherface makes this film. I wish he was as good as I wish the film around Leatherface was as good as his character, but honestly at this point I'll take a good Leatherface because sometimes he's not even good. Well, that is my review for the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's coming to Netflix right now. When this review drops, it drops on the streaming service, so check it out. It's middle of the road Texas Chainsaw. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's just there. It exists. If you like brutal gore and you like Leatherface, there's enough there to work. Just deal with some woke millennial Gen X Gen Z characters and you'll be fine. You know who I'm talking about. It's whatever. But it's a fun ride. You're here for the gore. The gore is good. Alright guys, what did you think of this review? What do you think of this movie? Share your feelings down in the comments below. Subscribe to Flickering Myth because we make videos like this every single week, and give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Alright everyone, let's talk about Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre down below.